What's up, everybody? Recently in a video I talked about how it seems like Psyonix and Epic Games are starting to crack down a little bit more on their code of conduct and their end user agreements and all that kind of stuff, and this video is no different. I ended up receiving an email and getting an email from Psyonix recently about a certain video series that a lot of content creators tend to do, primarily pro players, and things that they are trying to, I guess, clarify for the general public. And they asked people to speak out about it, so here I am making an entire video. What's up, everybody? Lawler here, your inside source for all things Rocket League. Going to be talking about some Rocket League rules that are going down, as well as a tweet by apparently Jack that caught my attention. Boy's been tweeting a lot lately, and some of the takes are pretty oof, brother. But we'll get into that later. The first thing is actually about an email I received from Psyonix about the code of conduct. For those that don't know, right now there is a lot of professional players and stuff that farm easy content by doing what is called a Road to Supersonic Legends series, where they purposely make a new account and try to showcase the small nuances or educate on ways to rank up in the scene, ways for people to do these things to make sure that if you're struggling at X rank, you can climb and try to basically live coach, which isn't necessarily a bad idea. This email in particular is to draw that kind of attention. It's drawing attention to specifically some of the rules in the code of conduct about matchmaking, abuse, and cheating, and specifically smurfing. They define it specifically in those rules that a, quote, smurf account is an account that is intentionally abusing the matchmaking system for a player's gain or the gains of others. And this is kind of a nod to, obviously, the Road to GC or Supersonic Legends series, where they do end up clarifying actually some really positive things, talking about that the content in and of itself is fine as long as the matchmaking system isn't being abused. And what they mean by that is, for those that don't know or don't play ranked for whatever reason, when you boot up Rocket League and when you play ranked, for the first time in a season, you have to do 10 placement matches. Those matches are to justify or try to find or identify what your specific matchmaking skill is, your MMR, your matchmaking rating. That's what tells the system where these people should be playing, and as you win matches, that climbs and eventually you get out of your area. And what some people used to do in the past is they would intentionally throw those placement matches. So the game thinks, wow, you're garbage, and then they would put you in bronze or whatever, which then the whole smurfing issue comes into play, where those players are intentionally throwing matches so they can play easier games to whatever. I don't know the sole purpose. I do know some people that did it for the Supersonic Legends series did it just so they could put more videos out for that YouTube series, which, again, I understand the reasoning, but it does go against the terms of service, which, again, goes back to the original issue that it seems like overall, even if you guys watch my videos on the suspensions and stuff that they've been doing, it feels like Epic Games, since they've come in, are really trying to crack down on some of these rules that they've stated with their tournament guidelines, as well as their own guidelines for fair use and everything else that comes along with it. They've gotten a lot more strict, and I don't necessarily disagree with it because they are trying to obviously take a step to that next level. So it does state that they are allowed to make new accounts, but they cannot throw those placement matches on purpose to end up in a lower rank. They then further clarify that these violations will lead to bans, disqualification from the season rewards that you get at the end of the season, and other actions if deemed appropriate by Psyonix. What those actions are could be long-term, short-term ban, whatever the heck they want to do. Either way, I thought it was kind of interesting to bring up just because, even though it doesn't affect me directly, the whole reasoning behind it, I think, comes into effect in what is apparently Jack's tweet. For those that didn't see it, apparently Jack ended up putting out a tweet saying pro players need to make way more content. Duh. YouTube and Twitch content creation for Rocket League is terrible and could have so many more views. Yes and no. There is a massive argument, and has been like this since the beginning, before apparently Jack was even in the scene, that most people, when watching Rocket League, much rather go and play themselves than watch the content. It's part of the reason why it does so poorly on Twitch, and the only ones that do very well are ones that grind and build a fan base, or ones that are very talented at the game, or the competitive scene. The competitive scene viewership is absolutely huge, and a large reason as to why is because there's a lot of players that can't do what's being done, and there's things on the line and that gravity and that weight to it. While if I go into a Rocket League stream, it's the same gameplay at the same time. Half the time it's a pro player sitting in free play while they wait for 25-minute match queue. To me, I rather go in play myself, because that's kind of the benefit of Rocket League, is even if you only have 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you can still get a match in. It's one of the big draws to it, as compared to a game like League of Legends, where you can be there for anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour, or sometimes longer, depending on how bad your team is trying to throw. He then states that there's no reason a pro should have less than 100 viewers on Twitch, and I see it all the time. This game could be so much bigger right now. If any pros are unsure about it, need convincing, just DM me. It can be a lot easier than you think, especially for YouTube. And I do agree, pro players definitely have it easy in the sense of the YouTube content creation. I'm not saying them getting to where they are to have that platform is easy, but I'm saying that pros don't really have all that creative content. They don't really do anything that justifies me wanting to watch their content. I can't say there's a single professional player currently that makes YouTube content to me that is worth watching. And that's, again, my own personal bias. That's my own personal preference. What I enjoy for content is totally different from others. But I don't need to watch a pro upload his 1000th Road to Whatever series, and it's just more pro level gameplay. I don't care. I have no reason to watch that. And that creativity isn't really a thing. It's either a tutorial on how to do a thing that's been beaten to the ground, or a Road to Whatever series. That's pretty much the content. And there has been some people that have tried to innovate that and try to do things outside of the box, whether it be certain competitions with 6-mans and everything else. But the whole wager match thing is kind of being pushed away because of what they did with Fortnite and everything else. So the whole content creation thing is very simple. A pro player can literally sit down and queue ranked and record 3 matches of ranked until they get 3 wins, so they can make sure only wins go to the YouTube channel, and then just upload that. And there doesn't need to be any good editing. There doesn't need to be any like highlights. It's literally raw footage with an intro and an outro, and that's it. And it's free money, because I do agree with apparently Jack on the statement that the general consumer, the casual audience, loves that content. They love watching Rocket League at a high level, and the YouTube audience is massive. If you want words of advice, this is stuff I talked about in 2016, 2017 about pros building their brand so they can survive when their careers are over. There is no reason for these pros, other than they just may not enjoy it. They may not want to do it. They may not be able to split the focus between content creation and professional play, and they're possibly like, there's a lot of reasons where I can understand justification for not wanting to do it. That's fine. But I do think with some time management, justifying uploading 1-2 videos a week can do significant things when you're a pro player. You have a massive platform and a massive level of exposure that, if done correctly, can lead to big heights. You look at the players that have been doing it for a long time, like Rizzo, like Lethmere now, obviously. You look at Squishy Muffins and a lot of the big name content creators. People like Cookser are desperately missing out. People like Kronovi, after they stopped uploading, desperately missing out. And you can see ones that have that kind of goofy personality that works really well for the younger audience, like Arsenal, can hit 500,000 subs in like 6 months. It's absolutely crazy. And he's making way more money from that than he is from being a pro. But that's something that he can fall back on if he chooses to. It's kind of the same discussion that I had with Lethmere a long time ago about, hey man, like, do you really want to put yourself through the stress of trying to find a new team and all that kind of stuff when you're really enjoying content creation? Dedicate to yourself full time. Who knows what'll happen? Now he's sitting at over 1 million subs and just chilling. So, not saying he's chilling, obviously he puts in a ton of work, but you get the idea. It's there to give you multiple options. You should never put all your eggs in one basket. And I'm glad to see that some of these conversations are starting to happen. We're still at the very beginning, like the surface level of content creation for pro players. Pro players don't really do anything that's really exciting. All they do is really clickbait a title to make it seem like the content's different. You'll never guess what kind of thing I hit. Oh my God, I used new car, and is this the best one? I mean, it's the same thing as Call of Duty content. Every Call of Duty content creator, a new gun, new meta change hits. I used this gun and it's OP, and it's like, it's the same thing. It's you playing games, but at least they're using a different gun. You're using a similar car with the same hitbox, and I agree. It's simple. It's easier than people think, and I do agree with apparently Jack and what he's trying to say. And you are starting to see, it feels like Psyonix is hopefully putting more of an emphasis. I think it's the overall statement I'm trying to get to after this entire rant. I do hope that Psyonix starts to and continues to put more emphasis on their content creators. I remember going to World Championships in the past, and their big content creators like John Salmon and Fanimace and stuff literally could not be like bothered to be given like an area where they could sit and watch the RLCS without fans just constantly berating them. And even though, yes, they are a public figure and it is part of the job to sign and smile and take photos and stuff, but they're also there to watch the games, you know, and they don't have any place to go and do that. And I can't imagine what that's like. So I do hope Psyonix in the future starts to put more emphasis on that. I hope they are starting to, and they have been, you know, partnering with the content creators and getting their opinions on things, having them play test stuff. Because at the end of the day, it's a big community. We're all in this together. We're all trying to, and please don't do the High School Musical song, but we're all trying to collectively make this game better. And if we can help them with that burden, especially for the people that play and live and breathe this game more than they do, isn't necessarily a bad idea. So again, overall, I do and personally would like to see some more innovative content from pro players. That's just my personal preference. Not that I watch much of it altogether. I'm not really a big YouTube person, but yeah, I'm curious on what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you think that this rule is justified, I think it makes perfect sense, especially with the clarification. Let me know what you guys think about it. Apparently, Jack, is there certain suggestions you would give to pros about content that you think they could do that maybe hasn't done before? Maybe there's content that you guys think I should do that hasn't been done before. I'm only one person. I'm only so creative, so I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Let me know in the comments down below. And while you're down there, if you guys do enjoy the content, give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, all that fun stuff. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.